Good morning, one and all. Today, our topic is mechanical modification, that is blasting. So, in blasting, what we have to understand? So, in mechanical modifications, we have understand various techniques for getting the ground improvement techniques for improving the ground, and these modifications we are going to use. So, different types of modifications are required for understanding and for getting the required properties and required parameters for the ground. So, according to the soil improvement, we are having different kinds. In that, one of these mechanical modification. In that also, we have that is blasting. So, based on these blasting, how we are going to improve these ground properties or soil parameters, properties of the soils as per the required construction work. So, in this blasting, it means we are going to blast the things. Generally, it comes under in general point of view, it means we are going to reduce the things. But in soil improvement, soil conditions, as per the requirement of the construction work, we are going to modify some of the properties as a part of mechanical modification using this blasting. So, understanding this blasting, it is a specialized techniques which are used in different scenarios, that is for mining, construction, and demolition of industries to alter the structure or shape of the rock and formation, concrete structures, or other hard materials. For these hard materials, we are using this type of the specialized technique we are using for getting the different modifications which are helpful for construction work in that particular locality. So it depends upon the soil condition. So whenever the hard material is there, we want to construct something in that particular scenario, we have to choose these kind of blasting technique. So in this blasting technique, it comes under purely mechanical modification. So in this, how the soil properties are going to change and what are the soil properties which we are required. So using this blasting techniques, we are going to understand. So this process involves using controlled explosives. So in this blasting, the explosives plays a very, very important role, and it's very dangerous in whenever the heavy rocks are there. The production, the unpredictable things are going to happen in blasting, but we have to take more care whenever we are using these explosives. So in these explosives, the controlled explosives are very, very important, and the control of the explosives and the previous history, and whenever we are using these kind of blasting, so without any uh, loss of human lives or any other animals, any other birds, something, any are there present in that particular locality, we have to take care, and nearby surroundings also, the effective of these blasting is going to be reduced. Otherwise, it affects so many things nearby, any kind of dams, any kind of construction based on the foundation of, and it may affect. So, whenever we are doing this blasting, we have to be very careful, and the effects are going to be reduced when only we are using these controlled explosives. And how much amount we are using also very, very important. In which area we are going to conduct, how much area of this blasting is required, and outside the blasting, how was the scenario, and what are the various things are involved, are any different structures, any other parameters, various characteristics, environmental point of view. So all these parameters we have to understand in this blasting. It looks like a very simple word, but coming to the understanding and coming to the conducting and performing this operation blasting, it's a huge responsibility comes under remaining techniques, because in which way we are going to blast and what is our motto and what are the things we are expecting after blasting is involved so many parameters, not only technical point of view. So in various point of view, it is we are going to adopt this blasting. Once we are going to fix, there is no other options. We are going to do this blasting for modification. This required thing means we have to follow so many instructions, cautions are more compared to the remaining techniques. So in this, we have to understand the blasting is very, very important in various parameters, in various circumstances, various scenarios. We have to understand this blasting. So in this, the process involving these used control explosives, the control explosives is very, very important term. So whenever we are doing this blasting, the control how much quantity of this explosives are required and how it is affects and how hard the material. So these are all various parameters we have to calculate. So for that purpose, these control expanses we are using to achieve the specific outcomes such as fracturing rocks, breaking concrete, or modifying terrain for construction purposes. So it depends. So it's not in our hands once the explosives are placed there and we done the blasting means sometimes we may not reach our whatever the required thing is there also. So we have to be very careful and we have to understand the things in various different point of view, and we have to consider more parameters for understanding and doing the operation also. So like this, we have to understand the blasting. So it is also the specific outcomes I am confined for the civil engineering point of view. In various point of view also this is going to done. So the fracturing rocks and breaking the concrete, modifying the terrain, these are all for construction purposes. So here I am explaining the specific outcomes in civil engineering point of view. But so many outcomes are also expected for this using this kind of operation, that is blasting. So in this, the preparation and planning, it's very, very important, and it looks like very simple, but understanding of the particular location and what we require, what is the outcome we are expecting from the operation which is blasting, and what are the what are the things, what are the present scenario, how it is there, what we are expecting, and all these preparation is very, very important. In blasting we have to prepare and we have to understand the various scenarios, various soil properties, various rock properties. Why? Because we are conducting these blasting for hard materials. So and in within the where we are going to do these blasting, within the uh, whatever the required site or required area we are considering, within the hardness of the material also it may changes. That is also there. So that is also we have to prepare, and where the explosion is going to the takes place, and this where we are going to keep these explosives, and how hit it is, how hard it is. So these are all the things we have to understand at the time of the preparation. So before initiating mechanical modification blasting, through planning and preparation is essential. It's very must and it's essential. So first we have to understand the site assessment. So how the geological condition. So whenever we consider the surface area, whatever the surface area is going to the blast, how the hard the material and the similarity of the material also we have to understand. The similarity, the similarity of the that area and that material, that rock, whatever it may be, is important. The characteristics are very, very important for understanding this. So in this, the site assessment, engineers assess the geological and structural characteristics of the site to determine the best approach. So that is the thing. Safety measures. So it comes under preparation and planning only. We have to strict safety protocols are to be established to protect workers and the surrounding environment. So the surrounding environment, it may not be the same in every time. So it may differ. So based on the surrounding environment may be full of population, it may empty, such kind of human interaction is very less. Areas are also we may there, but in some of the situations we may face within the center of the cities or nearby, the human interaction is more. In such situations also we may doing this kind of blasting. So we have to understanding the surroundings and how what about the working that particular area workers, protected those workers, and strict safety protocols are established. And we have to understand not only in human life point of view, we have to understand the surrounding buildings, structures also very, very important. So this site assessment and safety measurements are done. We are going to understand, we are going to now design the blast design. So these two are very, very important parameters for blast design. So now we are planning and we are going to prepare site assessment and safety measures. Now we are going to planning for the blast design. So engineers design a blast plan that includes the type and an amount of explosives, drilling patterns and timing sequences. Each and every parameter is very, very important in blasting design. Timing sequences, the timing, whenever we are doing, whether it is morning or evening, day, midnight, whatever it may be. So it depends upon the surroundings and the site condition and how much amount of explosive is required. Even though once we are doing these explosions, the outcome, the required outcome terrain, it may not be get. So at that thing, any drilling patterns are required for getting the specified outcome. These are all are included in this blast design. So we have to understand the site assessment as well as the safety measures and also the blast design. The next one is drilling. So the process typically begins with drilling holes into the material to be modified. It depends upon the size, depth and spacing of these holes depending on the desired outcome and the properties of the material. So this drilling, so in some of the cases already we discussed, that is the required terrain or the required whatever the area we want for that using this blasting, it may we won't get. So for that we are doing some drillings, then only we will get the whatever the outcome which we think. So the process typically begins with drilling holes into the material to be modified. The size, depth and spacing of the holes depends upon all these things, size, depth and spacing. So it is plays a vital role in this blasting. So and also the properties of the material and the drill pattern. In this drilling, the process we have to understand and the pattern also plays a role, and in this drill pattern that outlines where and how many holes are needed. It depends upon the requirement and how hard the material is there and how much surface area we will require this blasting. These are all the parameters which we are going to understand in this drill pattern. In this drill pattern, once we outlines are going to the understand how many holes are needed, all these things are done. Now we are going to the which type of drilling is required for this blasting. Before blasting or after, we have to understand this. Drill types are different types of drills are there. Rotary, percussive, these are some different types are there, may be used depending upon the hardness and density of the material. So which type of drill type we are going to choose, it purely depends upon the how hard and density of that particular material. So preparation and planning, drilling, and after that explosive loading. Once all the holes are going to be drilled, these explosives are carefully placed inside, and which type of explosives we are using and how much loading techniques we are considering, it is also the very, very important part in this blasting. In this explosive loading, once the all holes are drilled, explosives are carefully placed inside. Coming to the types of various explosives may used, such as dynamite, ANF, ammonium nitrate, fuel oil. So these are the various different types are there, and which is suitable for the, and how much explosive is required, how much destruction is required for that locality, and how the particular material is gives. How much the locality is required and how much the particular explosive gives are also important for choosing the type of the explosive. Now moving to the loading technique. So explosives are loaded into the holes, ensuring they are packed securely and safely. It is very, very important. And at the time of the loading of those, the safety precautions and whatever the prescribed safety rules are there, we have to follow. And which type of material we are using and how much time, it is depends upon the which type of explosive we are using. Sometimes in some of the explosives are differently reacted with atmosphere. So for that also we have to understand the which how to, outside the atmosphere how it is there, how the scenario, we have to understanding the all these weather conditions, all these things we have to understand. So each and every parameter we have to understand in this type of explosive loading for blasting. Next, detonation. So the detonation is the controlled initiation of the explosive material to achieve the desired effect. So in this timing sequence and shock wave propagation, these are all the parameters in detonation. In this, detonation timing is critical. It is very, very critical. We have to understand this. It may be instantaneous or delayed depending on the blast design. So which type of explosive we are using and how we are designing this blast is are all the parameters for understanding these detonation by timing and the sequence, how it reacts. And coming to this shock wave propagation, the explosion generates a shock wave that propagates through the material causing fractures or displacement. So this explosion generates a shock wave that propagates through the material causing fractures or displacement. So these are the detonation, controlled initiation of the explosive material to achieve their desired effect. Now coming to the outcome and post-blast analysis. So after detonation, we are done with everything. We placed the explosive and we gave that thing, and the explosion generates a shock wave that propagates to the material causing fractures or displacement. That is, it depends upon the, and we know, and it may small errors may occur, little errors may occur, but whatever we design, we are achieved. Now we have to understand the outcome and the blast analysis after the detonation. So engineer assess the results and adjust the future plans if necessary. So we may not understand every time, it gives the results, and for better design pattern we are going to change And not only huge change, it's not depends upon the complete change. Small things we are going to understand. After once the blasting is done, we have to allow for understanding. We are ready to, and we are adjusting in the future, because it depends upon the so many parameter, environmental conditions, how the worker drilled, and the explosion, how it exposed for that conditions. All these small parameters also affect the things. It may slightly or it may be hugely. So it depends upon the once the blast is done, we have to analyze, and in further future plans we have to understand, and we are going to implement in better way. So in this fragmentation, the material fractures along predetermined lines, allowing for easier extraction or reshaping. So safety inspection, post blast inspections are also ensure the sites is safe for further work or access. That is very important. Sometimes the explosive may not completely expose something is may left out, maybe we don't know. It depends upon the which type of we are using. It depends upon the different scenarios and how it blast, and next to that blast, how the surface area is there, how the locality is there. These are all the parameters, and each and every parameter is very important. After post blasting inspections are very important for further continuing the work in that particular locality. How the environmental impact, it is also very important. Mitigation measures address any environmental impact caused by the blasting. So that is one of the things we have to understand. And these are the steps: the preparation and planning after the drilling, explosive loading, detonation, outcome, and post blast analysis we are conducting for this blasting. Coming to the applications, in construction point of view, preparing foundation, excavating trenches, demonstration structures, we are using mainly for this purpose only. But beyond this blasting we are using in mining, quarrying, demolition. So these are the applications of this blasting. So safety considerations. Coming to the safety consideration, protective gear. Workers wear protective gear to safeguard against flying debris and noise. Monitoring. Continuous monitoring ensures safety protocols are followed or not. This environmental impact, minimizing the environmental footprint through careful planning and execution. In summary, mechanical modification blasting is precise and controlled method for altering geological formations or structural materials. It involves careful planning, drilling, explosive loading, detonation, and post-blast analysis to achieve specific engineering object while prioritizing safety and environmental responsibility. So these are the things which we are understanding in our blasting. These are the some of the web references for the understanding the mechanical modification in blasting point of view. It may help for better, for enhancing, or in any way we go through all these web references. It helpful us for better understanding the ground improvement techniques. Thank you. We will see in our next class.
Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.